Hey everybody, I am back. All right. Some of you may have seen that I did a blue catfish logo drawing for a friend of mine that I went to school with. Anyway, it's a commission. So I told him I did a quick rough sketch of it, which is what I got right here. Let me go in here and show you. I scanned it into the computer. So I'm going to take and be going through it. I'm going to do the outline in black. This is the drawing. So I'm going to take this drawing and clean it up and do it on the computer and color it on the computer. So that's pretty much what I got going on there. So that's the drawing. I just scanned it into the computer. So I thought I'd share with you how I do my digital. So scroll in on this. Now what I'm going to do, so I can see my lines pretty good. As you can see, it's all done with color pencil and stuff like that. So I want to go back in and color it with the computer. So I'm going to take my layer, which is the drawing. I'm going to drop my opacity down to about 76%. Just enough so I can still see the lines underneath it and know where I need to put my lines at. Okay? So when I'm drawing over that, I'm going to know that these areas right here, which you'll see right through here, are my darker lines. And then this helps me clean up my artwork. And then I'll do an underlayer, which is the white layer down here, and that's where my colors will go. Okay? This tablet was actually a gift from a friend, Ryan Pauly, and I appreciated him doing that and giving this to me. It was a blessing. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So let me get back up on the drawing part here, and as you can see, I've already started doing my lines and stuff. So I'm going to take and go zoom in a little bit more, make sure I got my stuff. Okay, now you can't really see the lines, but I can see the lines right through here. So I'm just going to be following these. I need to, whoops, hold on, I screwed up. I got to put it, get it back on my ink layer. Whoops, there we go. So and like I said, helps me clean up my artwork. So when I do the colors underneath it, it'll be nice crisp lines. This is saved at 300 DPI. That's what I scanned the drawing at. This will be is going to be the same DPI, because basically I'll discard the drawing layer once I get this all completed. And this is really how I do my digital inks. I'll go over my pencil art and now I know Todd and them, they have all kinds of shortcuts where they can fill areas and straight. I'd rather do it just like I'm drawing it. Don't really like using the shortcut stuff unless I have to. This gives me more of a control on what I want to do and how I want to do it and how I want to lay it out. If you do not have an on-screen drawing tab, this is an old one. This is one of the first ones that ever came out. It's still very usable. Uh, it's not a Syntec or anything like that, but it definitely. I'd love to get a Syntec, but I just can't afford one of those. They're too much money for me right now. Maybe when I get rich and famous one day, I'll be able to afford it. But right now, suffices. Before I had this, I had a monoprice tablet, which didn't even draw on the screen like this. I drew on the tablet down here looking at the screen. It took me about a year and a half to get used to drawing that way. I got where I was really good at it. I mean, but this is so much easier to sit there and draw on screen. You see immediately what you're doing. And it's just like drawing with a pencil. Now, some people, I still love doing it the traditional way, but it's so much easier to color, to, to paint, erase mistakes, and do stuff when you do it digitally than it is with artwork. If I screw up on here, I can just go back, do a Control Z. If I screw up on a painting and I'm already painting it, then I've got to repaint it. This, I can go back digitally and usually correct it. Do a step backward in Photoshop, or if it's really bad, just redo it. But it's all what your preference is. But so right now I'm just going over lines. So these darker areas here, which I don't think you could see them that well, but and I've got this blown up so I can see the lines. And because if you do it at too far away, not zoomed in, my lines, because my hand shakes so bad, get really jagged. And then when I blow it, then I've got a jagged picture. So I do it like this so I can actually see if my lines are jagged. Now, I don't really worry about trying to get really, really straight lines unless I'm doing buildings or something like that. If I'm doing just a drawing, simple drawing like this, I just really just go with it. If I'm a little offline, it doesn't really matter. If I need to, I'll go back in and correct it. But 99.9% of the time, it works out pretty good. Once I start putting the colors on it, that hides a lot of imperfections anyway. Now, see, Todd McFarlane and those guys that actually use it, the screens like this all the time, they've got all kinds of shortcuts. So he'd basically select that and boom, fill it in, and would save all that time. And I guess if you're doing it on a regular basis and you're doing comics, then that's okay. But I'm not on a deadline to do comics, so right now I'm just taking my time doing my drawing. Now I'll zoom out. Let's see. View, print size. Okay, see, now this is what you're going to see. Let me get this so I can show you better. You can't really see it that well. Turn this around. There. And not working too well. There we go. There. So see, that's how I do. So you can see my line drawings underneath here. And I've got my stuff zoomed out. So as I'm drawing it, you'll see there's my lines, right? So as I'm drawing, I can see that, and I'll come in here and lay this down. Like I said, cleans it up. So that is how I do that. Now, I'll just give you a quick little show here. I'm not going to keep it that way, but I'm going to show you what I would do if I'm coloring. So what's happening here? All right, I'm going to turn my bottom layer off, right? So, well, hold on a second. Let me do something real quick. So I'm going to finish this drawing here. So go up on my sides here for a second. There we go. Okay. Go back down to 3. All right, so now, as you can see, I got I'm just laying in some lines. All right, so I got that. Now, when if I was to color this, I would turn this layer off. All right, and then that just leaves me that. Now I want to go with a yellow. So I'm going to switch down to my background layer, and then I'm going to lay in my yellow. Okay, now it's behind my lines, so you're not going to see it. Now the edges of my eye is going to be a deep yellow, you know, solid. Okay, same here. Let me go up on my, there we go. There we go. All right, so there you go. All right, so now I'm going to take my lasso tool and I'm going to just come around here. Like so. All right, now I'm going to go to my filter, blur, Gaussian blur, right? And I'm going to drop this, okay? Bring that up, okay? That's going to give me my gradation, okay? Say okay. Right, now if I want to tweak that, I get my smudge tool, and then I can come in and tweak it however I want to do it, you know, like that. Bring that in there, bring this down. Go a little bit more yellow here. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow over here on this side. Oh, bloody hell. I got to pick the wrong bloody tool. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Add a little bit more here. Like that. Right around my eye. There we go. Add that. Push that out a little bit. There we go. Do print size. So there you go. And that's the basis for my, right? Select, deselect. Okay. Select, reselect. Blow it up. Filter. Okay. There we go. But that's basically how you do it. So, let me back off of this now. So that's really how I do my inks and my colors and so on and so forth. So once I start doing everything, view, select, deselect. View. I use Photoshop CS6. So, but anyway, that's all for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed just my little tutorial real quick on how I do my digitals. View actual pixels, view print size. There we go. And I'll turn my background layer back on. There you go. So once I get done with it, it'll all look really, really good, be really, really awesome, and he'll be really, really happy, and I'll have a little dosh in my pocket. So y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Happy Easter.